Moed. Today is the 20th day of Nisan. It is our final day of Chol Hamoed Pesach. And of course, it is Erev Yantav Shvi Shel Pesach, as we are davening for, awaiting, and hoping for Nisim and Niflaos, for Achinu B'nai Yisrael, and for every Jew and everybody throughout the world. Hashem should show us Nisim and Niflaos this Yom Tov, like He did for us in Mitzrayim. We are holding at the top of Daf Yud Beis Amud Aleph, where the Gemara is going to be discussing the Mishnah. Well, the Mishnah that we're going to start with, we already quoted on yesterday's Amud, and that is the discussion of a person that is makdish their nechasim without specification. Person says, my property is now going to be hektish, and doesn't define exactly what is going on there. So in that case, says the Mishnah as follows, top of Yud Beis Amud Aleph, makdish nechasav, a person that dedicates all of their property to the Beis Hamikdash, and there was stuff amongst them that could be used for public korbanos. So, for example, animals, or we'll see, perhaps, maybe more, maybe less, maybe not. We had defined yesterday that means specifically korbanos, ketaris, according to Rabbi Yomi. Says the Gemara, you have to give them to the workers as their wages. That's Rabbi Akiva's opinion. Meaning, the way that you now these things belong to the Beis Hamikdash. What are you going to do with the stuff that's ru'im for korban? You can use it to pay the workers. Meaning, this is considered to be Beis Hamikdash property. So the same way that you could use the money for the that you were supposed to use the money for the Shekalim to pay the workers, so you'd be able to use this to pay the workers, no problem. Meaning, just pay it back to them, pay it to them as their wages. And then obviously you'd be able to take money from the Lishka and buy it back from them. That is the opinion of Rabbi Akiva. Amar le ben Azza says to Rabbi Akiva, hold on a second. That's not the way that we do this. First, you have to separate out what the workers get paid in the stuff that has been dedicated. And then you have to transfer that Kedusha onto money. Because you can't give them the Ketaris or the other stuff, whatever it might be. You can't give it to them straight up. You have to first be mechalal onto money, and then you give it to the umnim b'scharam as their wages. And then in both Rabbi Akiva and Ben Azai agree that you then go and purchase it back from these workers with the truma chadasha, with the new funds of the Lishkas Hagasis for this year. Meaning the only difference between the opinion of Rabbi Akiva and the opinion of Ben Azai is whether or not you can give them these items of hektish as their wages and then buy back from them, or you have to first be mechalal onto money and give them the money. Says the Gemara, it says the Mishnah, hamaknish dechasav. If a person is dedicating their property, and amongst the property is an animal that can be used for the mizbech, which means that our first clause was not talking about that, which is why the Gemara is going to discuss that means ketaris, because this next part is something within the donation is an animal that could be used for the mizbech. There's both male animals and female animals. Rabbi Eliezer says that the male animals should be sold to those that need to bring an olah, because that's what you bring. That's what you use a male animal for a korban olah. The nekevos and the female animals, the female animals, you send, you give. Meaning you sell to the people that are going to be bringing shlom, because that's where you need a female animal. Udmehem, and the money that is received, meaning the payments, the remuneration there, yiplu im sharat nechasav lebedek habayis, those will end up going into the same pot and will be used for bedek habayis. Meaning, says Rabbi Eliezer, anything that a person donates to the Beis Hamikdash, a person says, I'm giving this to Beis Hamikdash, even though it is including animals, that doesn't go for korbanos. You cannot give that as korbanos. That only goes for bedek habayis. And therefore, you would need to sell those animals to people that need korbanos, and that money will then go to bedek habayis. They don't go into the purchasing of korbanos atzila. Rabbi Yeshua disagrees with Rabbi Eliezer, and he says, why? Just bring the animals as olas, meaning the Beis Hamikdash needs korbanos for oilus, no problem. But female animals should be given as zivchei shlomim because the tzibur doesn't bring female zivchei shlomim. We have dmeim oilus, and what should you do? You should use that money to bring oilus, meaning you wouldn't be able to use them for oilus, so you would use their money for oilus. And the other nechasim yipul berek habayis, those the rest of the money will be used for berek habayis. Amar Rabbi Akiva says, hold on a second. Roya ani is divrei Rabbi Eliezer, mi divrei Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Eliezer makes much more sense to me than Rabbi Yeshua does. Rabbi Eliezer, who thinks that both the males and the females and the property and the everything, all is berek habayis. You cannot use any of it for korbanos. All of it is berek habayis. But Rabbi Yeshua, I don't understand. Says Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Eliezer, Hishves Midaisa. Rabbi Eliezer is consistent across the board. He says all of these things. The person says, "I'm giving my property to the Beis Hamikdash." The animals are part of that property. They go for berek habayis. What does Rabbi Yeshua understand? Says Rabbi Yeshua Chilek. Rabbi Yeshua differentiates. Rabbi Yeshua says that the animals can be brought as korbanos and the rest is berek habayis. Why? Why are the animals able to be brought as oilus? Amar Rabbi Papias, says Rabbi Papias, Shamati is divrei shneim. I've heard both opinions. I've heard both opinions. Sorry. I've heard both of their opinions, both Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer. And then it's Hamakdish befirush kedib Rabbi Eliezer. And we hold that somebody that says befirush kedib Rabbi Eliezer, somebody that says, I'm giving my property and my animals. My property and my animals, they all go to the Beis Hamikdash. That's where we're going to say that is like the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, where we would hold that since the donor recognizes that he has things there that could be used as korbanos, nevertheless he says, "I'm giving everything here as well as the animals to the Beis Hamikdash." It's very clear that he wants that to be for berek habayis, because otherwise he wouldn't have stipulated the animals. But Hamakdish Stam, somebody says everything that's in this area, this estate, all goes to the Beis Hamikdash. That's what we would say, like the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua, that since he didn't specify his animals out, then he's saying, I'm giving this to the Beis Hamikdash to do as they wish, not necessarily for berek habayis purposes, but to use it as they wish, and that would include if they want to use it as oilus, they'd be able to, because he didn't specify that this is berek habayis. Says the Mishnah, somebody that dedicates their property, and there were other things that could be put on the mizbech, which is yenos, ushmanim ve'ofes. You have wine and oil and birds. So what do we say in such a case? Rabbi Eliezer is of the opinion, sell them, and the wine, the process of the wine you use for wine, the process of the oil you use for oil, the process of the birds you use for the birds. No problem. Meaning you would use it for all of those things. Meaning you sell it to the people that need those things. It's in the money that you're going to make back. Rabbi Eliezer says you can use as oilus, but the rest of it, all of that would be used for berek habayis. You would use the proceeds for upkeep of the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, says the Gemara as follows: Hamakdish korbanos hatzibur, somebody that dedicates things for korbanos hatzibur. So what are we talking about in such a case? So at the end of the Mishnah, we said wine and oil and birds. In the middle of the Mishnah, we spoke about animals. So what's this case at the top of the Mishnah that we just say stuff that could be used for korbanos hatzibur? What is this stuff? Says the Gemara, and this is what we saw yesterday. We mentioned at the beginning today. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Rabbi Yochanan says kataris. This is obviously talking about kataris, meaning kataris is that thing which could be used for korbanos hatzibur. And that's what we are talking about here. Amar Rabbi Hoshaya, says Rabbi Hoshaya, Tipati be'ubad b'shel beis avtinas shalinas b'shchar kedaris. No, you should explain that this is referring to an artisan from the beis avtinas that would take the kedaris as his wages, meaning the beis hamikdash would usually buy it back. They would usually buy back the kedaris from the artisans, but what would happen in such a case if the Beis Hamikdash has given these artisans the kedaris as wages? They haven't brought it back yet, and in between that, the artisan said, you know what? I just made a ton of money on the stock exchange. I won the lottery, whatever it is. Everything in my house that I have currently, I'm dedicated to the Beis Hamikdash, and that includes the Ketores that they had been paid for. So in that case, so what's the says Rabbi Yishai, that's the situation that we are talking about here. My time of the Ben Asai. So what is the approach of Ben Asai here with regards to Ketores? Says the Gemara, She'ein hayektish mischal al melacha ela al mas. The machlokes between Ben Kiva and Ben Asai is whether or not you could exchange Ketores, which has kedusha. Could you exchange that only for money, meaning you could be mechalal that on money, or something intangible like services? Meaning, could you exchange the Ketores that has kedusha, say, we're going to use that, we're going to be mechalal that, that Ketores that is now owned by the Beis Hamikdash, has the status of hekdesh, we are now going to use that as wages directly. Directly, we're going to use that as wages because the value, the intangible, abstract value of wages of services rendered, that is could be used to be mechalal the Ketores or not. That's the machlokes between Ben Azai and Rabbi Akiva. Says the Gemara Solas Taman Tanina. There we learned the following. This is the Mishnah in Teruma. Yesh bekodshe bedek habayis. There are certain halachas. We're going to see some differentiations. Yeah, it's an important Mishnah, especially within the context of everything, just to get a picture that there are certain differences between things that are bedek habayis. Shestam hekdeshus lebedek habayis. Anybody that says I'm giving this to the Beis Hamikdash means that they're giving it to bedek habayis. So that's one differentiation. Meaning, somebody that says that this is an oila, it's an oila. Somebody says that this is hekdesh, means it's not an oila. It doesn't go to the mizbech at all. It goes to the upkeep of the Beis Hamikdash. Hekdesh bedek habayis chalal hakol. Somebody that says that this is hekdesh for bedek habayis, that status now can exist on all things, meaning all items. Somebody says, I'm donating a glass, right? I'm giving this mug to the mizbech. That's a meaningless statement. If you say I'm giving a mug to bedek habayis, that works. So that's chal al hakol. Umalin begidul lehen. And with regards to things that are dedicated to bedek habayis, now is owned by the Beis Hamikdash, you would violate me'ilah with the things that grow from it. For example, somebody gave an animal to the bedek habayis, a chicken to the bedek habayis, a duck to the bedek habayis. That duck lays an egg. That duck belongs to the Beis Hamikdash, and the egg belongs to the Beis Hamikdash. There would be me'ilah in that which grows from it as well. Ve'ein bahem hanay lekahanim, and bedek habayis, there is no benefit to the kohanim. The kohanim don't take anything from bedek habayis. They do take from the korbanos, meaning we know from the korban chatas they would take the chaz v'shayt. And from the shlamim, they would take, and they got the skins of the olas. There were things that they took, that they were allowed to take. Bedek habayis, nothing belongs to the kohanim at all. Rabbi Chanina says, Rabbi Chanina, de Rabbi Eliezer, this is all the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Eliezer. Detaninan, that we learned in the Mishnah. A makdish nechasav, somebody that dedicates their nechas, their property, and amongst the property was something that could be put on the mizbech, zacharim and nekeves, male and female animals. Rabbi Eliezer says, zacharim, this is Rabbi Eliezer of our Mishnah, zacharim yimachru letzarchei olos. The males are sold to the people that need olos, and the females are sold to the people that need shlamim. And the rest of it all goes to, and the proceeds go along with all the rest of it for the purposes of bedek habayis. What we see is that animals that are dedicated as part of an estate, meaning unspecified donations, even of animals, all goes to bedek habayis. Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Yochanan, time Rabbi Eliezer, the reason for Rabbi Eliezer is v'ish ki yakdish es beisay kadosh LaHashem. The pasuk says, if a person gives his household to Hashem, meaning his house to Hashem, kadosh LaHashem, it all belongs to Hashem. B'ma anun kaiminan. What are we talking about here? Im babayis bebeis dira. If you're talking about the actual house itself. So in such a case, that doesn't make sense. If the person that dedicates his house will redeem its house, that's a different din. That's And that's the next pasuk. But what does the pasuk mean? Ishki Akdish is basically Hashem. Elaki Anan Kamin b'Mekadosh l'Chasav. Must be that he is dedicating his assets, meaning that which is the property of his house. Mikan Shestam Hekdesh is the Bedekabai. So you learn from this that a regular hekdesh, whenever a person says this goes to the Beis Hamikdash, it means to Bedekabais and not to the Mizbech. Amar Rabbi Zeira, says Rabbi Zeira, Rav Chuna b'Shem Rav, in the name of Rav Chuna, in the name of Rav. But Mepalginan, in what case do Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua disagree? B'makdish nechasav, with regards to dedicating one's property. Somebody says, all of my property over here goes to the Beis Hamikdash. Aval b'makdish edrei, but if somebody says, I'm dedicating my flock, how do you hold there? Somebody says, I'm dedicating my flock. If a person says, I'm giving my flock means it's going to the Mizbech, that's for sure true. Not my property, but my flock. He knows what's happening there. Rabbi Chuna b'Shem Rav, Rabbi in the name of Rabbi Chuna, in the name of Rav, says, no. Ma palginan, where do they disagree? B'makdish edrei. They disagree with regards to makdish edrei. That's a machlokas as well. But with regards to makdish nechasav, there is no disagreement. Meaning the whole disagreement in the Mishnah is not about one's property. Everybody agrees that if you gave your property to the Beis Hamikdash, that goes to Bedekabais. The machlokas is in the flock. How do you understand when somebody says my flock? Is that the same as my property, or does that mean specifically that that's going to the Mizbech? Al data to Rabbi Zera Necha. This makes good sense according to Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Zera, who says that there's a machlokas about that they disagree about property. But this is difficult with how do you understand Rabbi Ba? Behema lo mizbechi, meaning is the behema not fit for the mizbech? Meaning, why is it that Rabbi Eliezer would disagree that when a person says I'm giving my flock to the Beis Hamikdash, that he plans on that going to the mizbech? Why would you not assume that that's what he thinks? It says the Gemara behemoth mizbechi. Of course, a behemoth is for the mizbech. Velama sasa me'ish is there. But then why did he say to I'm giving this to the Beis Hamikdash? This is how you'd understand Rabbi Eliezer, according to Rabbi Ba. According to Rabbi Eliezer, when a person says I'm giving this animal to the Beis Hamikdash, well, you should have said to the Mizbech. The fact that he specifies that it's to the Beis Hamikdash means that he is not intending for it to go to the Mizbech. This is if he's saying, I'm only giving this for upkeep of the Beis Hamikdash. I'm not giving it as a korban. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan, Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Lo yishani ela, the difference between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua is, ha-mekadosh nechasav, he ha mekadosh Ezra, he ha machlekes. That the machlekes is in all of these cases. They disagree about somebody giving their property, and they disagree about somebody giving their flock. They have the machlekes in all cases. That Rabbi Eliezer is going to say that Rabbi Eliezer is going to say that none of it goes to the Mizbech, it all goes to Bedek Habayis, and Rabbi Rabbi Shua is going to say that we can differentiate. That sometimes we could say that this could go to the Beis Hamikdash and sometimes we'll go to the Mizbech. Okay, and we'll continue with Rav Chuna b'Shem Rav, which is the next sugya. We will continue with that on Yom Tov and on Matzah Yom Tov. Wishing everybody a beautiful final day of Chol Hamoed Pesach, and looking forward to learning with you tomorrow. And for those that are not going to be in shul, we will catch up on Matzah Yom Tov V'Neda. We'll try to get both of the shiurim up for Yud Beis Amud Beis and Yud Gimel Amud Aleph on Matzah Yom Tov V'Neda. That's the plan. We'll see how Yom Tov packing away ends up going. We'll see you then.